It's Tim Albright looking ahead at AV3 and Mr. Chris Merrick from Shure. Welcome, sir.
Hello, nice to see you again, Tim. You're looking well.
Absolutely, you're looking great as well. Chris just got back from ISE in Barcelona.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second. Shure is one of the fantastic sponsors of AV3. We're doing a session, a virtual event with our friends over at SCN, System Contractors News, and AVNation on June 17th. You can check that out and register at av3event.com. But Chris, you guys have about 6-9 months ago, you purchased an audio company called STEM Audio, big in the collaboration and the conferencing space. Here in the last month or so, you guys are kind of bringing those two groups together, Shure and STEM. Talk for a second about what some of the things you saw in STEM and the abilities that you're really kind of bringing to customers, right, to the technology and the IT managers, but also to your dealers in this new acquisition.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think everyone remembers the big splash that STEM made at Infocom back in 2019, and they certainly caught our attention. Great company, some great technology, a very fresh view of the market, some great people, and let's face it, a little bit of sass, a little bit of doing things in a more unconventional manner. So they certainly excited a lot of people at Shure, and so we decided to do a bit of a deep dive, and our M&A team got chatting to Jacob and his team over in California, and there just seemed to be lots and lots of great commonalities between the two organizations. So STEM, as we know, relatively new organization, and to become a global powerhouse takes a lot of resources, takes a lot of time. Similarly for Shure, we realized they had capabilities which fill gaps which we didn't have. So when you put those two things together, our scale and experience and our global reach, them with their passion and innovation and great insights, we think it's actually going to be a match made in heaven in terms of actually how we can actually better serve our customers and our end customers, the end users, but also very importantly how we can better serve a channel.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because one of the things that in talking, we interviewed some of the other folks a couple of weeks ago, right? I did, and you guys and STEM both have a history of, I'm not going to say exceptional because I'm not trying to editorialize here, but a high level of customer service. Now, each of you do it in a different way, right? Obviously, Shure is a much bigger organization, but each of you have kind of a customer service at the heart of what you do. Talk about how you're able to kind of basically sharpen each other and play off of the strengths of each other when it comes to that customer service level.
Yeah, so I think Shure customer service is well renowned because of the expertise and the accessibility. So we get a lot of people that know so much about audio. So when they've got a problem and they call the Shure customer helpline, then they've got a knotty problem, and so they know they can get straight through to some real expertise to help with the issue. We tend to get fewer of such and such is I dropped it and it broke. That doesn't tend to happen so much because I think we know how bulletproof some of these products are. They tend to be more knotty technical problems. On the STEM side, they actually have a concept called customer happiness, which is, I think, actually more proactive than Shure, because what they do, they actually reach out to customers and try to say, we can actually help you implement your solution better. Here's some ideas for you. Here's some useful resources. So they actually have this proactive customer happiness group, which kind of almost like bridges post-sales into customer service. So that's actually a very exciting concept for Shure. And we're thinking about, okay, how can we actually take that concept around the world and complement not just what our channel partners are doing, but also how can we actually better help the end customers as well. So it's a very refreshing model that they've got, which we think is going to be very complementary. But when you put those two kind of focus areas together,
absolutely. The area that we want to hit on before we get out of here is the solutions that each of you provide are from the very, very technical, right? That the getting into the nitty gritty all the way up to some of the more easier to deploy. How is that helping your dealers as they're going to market and saying, here's an incredible, technical, we have to hone in on this zone here, and we've got to adjust it by 3 dB all the way up to, here's a simpler solution that doesn't take quite as long to implement, or even
Yeah.
into the engineer when you're kind of bringing that to market with your dealers?
Yeah, well, I think this is addresses a very well established problem which we know all of the professionals in the industry face, which is scarcity of resources. Actually, are there enough well skilled techs to actually deal with those challenging spaces, and that sometimes slows down projects or makes them more expensive. And what you don't want to do is actually put those techs into those types of environments where actually something which is, shall we say, more out of the box, doesn't require those levels of configuration, can be a almost like a clone and go across a large campus, across a large estate. So that's really where STEM plays, and we think this is actually going to help the channel in particular focus their very skilled, highly trained people who've been through all the Shure certifications, which are free, by the way. But when they've been through all of those Shure certifications, and they can focus on those more challenging spaces, the big auditoria, the executive boardroom, that challenging lecture theatre, whichever type of space. But if you've got 200 classrooms or training rooms spread across the country for your chain of retail outlets, whatever it is, then that's where the STEM solution fits very well, because it's more easily deployable by people who don't actually have that really deep AV expertise. And so that allows our AV channel partners to actually make an offer which they couldn't perhaps do before. So it's good business for them. It makes it much easier and less expensive for the end customer, and it's I think, so it is kind of like a win-win. I know win-win's a bit of a cliche, but I think it works. The analogy I kind of like been thinking about is a bit like maybe you go to a Michelin restaurant and you've got very exquisitely trained people who are going to deliver you something very tailored and very special. That's kind of more like the Shure integrated channel. And then, but perhaps HelloFresh. I don't know if you have that brand in the States, but you have all the ingredients are delivered to you at home, and you can put the meal together yourself. You're going to have something which is very, very good. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a great experience, but they serve different purposes. So I might get shot for that analogy, but that was one I just kind of made up today. But I'm just trying to find, because the products functionally have a lot of similarity, of course, and so it's how do you sort of say, okay, how do you differentiate between the two? And a lot of it is actually about, how do I like to buy? What problem am I trying to solve? What's the most expedient route to deployment? It's not actually about the functional differences per se.
All right, very good. Chris, Merrick, thank you so much. If somebody wants to connect with you or with Shure, how do they do that?
Shure.com and, of course, STEMaudio.com.
All right, very good. Chris Merrick from Shure. Thank them for their sponsorship of AV3. For that event, go by AV3event.com, AV3event.com, June 17th. Hang out with me, along with Megan Della, Chuck Espinoza, and a whole lot of really smart people on June 17th from 9 a.m. until like 6 or 7 p.m. because we have a happy hour. So all that and more at AV3event.com, AV3event.com.